Hello everybody and welcome to niXtreme. Today we're going to be replacing the right Joy-Con rail ribbon cable. Let's check it out. Hello everybody, welcome back. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get into this repair. So I have my right Joy-Con here and the rail here does not work. My SR and SL buttons do not work on my right Joy-Con, and neither does the light in the middle here, but the Joy-Con itself works, as you can see here. Opening my system, moving it around with the analog stick, so everything works there. But like I said, the issue is the ribbon cable is snapped in the Joy-Con here, so we got to replace it, and that'll fix the buttons and the light. So this is what you got to order off the internet. It's a little tiny ribbon cable. Now these are specific to the Joy-Con side. See how you can see how the buttons lay out. Now this is the one for the right Joy-Con, because the buttons lay out like this. So let's open it up and we'll replace it. What you need here is you need your tri-wing screwdriver, small Phillips screwdriver, and you're going to need some tweezers too. Will help a lot. So let's open it up. You're going to open up your tri-wing, the main Joy-Con here. Now this Joy-Con, normally, like I said, you would use the tri-wing. But this Joy-Con here is one where I did a custom housing on it, and that came with Phillips screws on it. So I'm actually just going to use my Phillips screws for this one, but you would be using the tri-wing for this normally. There we go. So we're just going to undo these screws here. There's 4 screws you got to undo here. It's always nice too when you do this to put your screws in some sort of container or something, just in case you knock your table or whatever and your screws go flying and you lose them, because these are tiny screws. They're very easy to lose. Also, be careful with how much pressure you put on these when you're unscrewing them, because the tri-wing screws do strip very, very easily. So that is the 4 outer screws. So now we can take the top of the shell off here. It should just come off. There we go. I just had to pry it a little bit. It was a little bit stuck. So this should just come off. And just open it slowly. Everything you want to do with these you want to do very slowly, because everything's sensitive in here. So okay, so the next thing we want to do, for safety's sake, you want to remove the battery. So here's the rumble motor, and here's the battery, and here's the battery cable, and this is pretty easy to disconnect. You just want to lift it and it'll just pop out just like that. And then I can't remember, but when I did this originally, I think the battery was actually stuck down with some double-sided tape. I can't remember, maybe it wasn't, but you can even just lift that out if you want to get it out of the way, make it a little bit easier. Next thing you want to take out is there are 3 screws holding this on. So you pretty much just want to unscrew the 3 screws. So let's do that here. So these would be your Phillips head screws. So these are the ones you're going to use your Phillips screwdriver for. Like I said, I've used it this whole time because I've replaced the tri-wings with Phillips screws anyways. Like that. And then you're going to lift this. You also have your little antenna here. You can lift this up and out of the way. Careful, because the shoulder button is spring loaded, and you don't want to mess that up. want that to pop out because that's can be trouble. So then you pop up this little thing here. Be careful, it's very delicate. And this is what holds the main ribbon cable on. So you're going to pop that up and you're just going to pull it out. Just like that. Now, we can put in our fresh ribbon cable. And you're going to have the contacts side down. Put that in just like that. And it'll just sit in there. Don't jam anything in. And then you're going to just close that black thing back. Just like that. So now we got our new ribbon cable in. So now we can secure this back into place because we don't need to keep this exposed. This can be tricky, just like everything else with these Joy-Cons. So, like I said, try at your own risk because everything's there's a lot of technology packed in these guys, and it's very easy to break this. So you got to be very careful how much pressure you put on your screws when you put them in, and all that stuff. So, okay, so we'll grab this one. Oop, see, just like that. It's hard to. Luckily, if you have magnetized bits, it makes it a little bit easier because you can just put it on the end and stick it in like this, see? Okay, so now we got our mid-rail back in. So, yeah, we got that back in. So now we can start by removing these two screws here. And these are what are holding on the rail. So we're going to take this out, and we're going to take this out. Now this should just pop up. Easier always to use your tweezers, just like that. And now we can just put the new one on. Before you do that though, you will have to fold this. Originally it comes with it folded on top of the battery. You can also, even if you want, you can fold it and put it underneath the other shell here. You might have to do that before you screw it in though. And it doesn't have to do as severe of a fold, and it'll make it so it'll last longer. But I'm going to do it how it came stock, because it came stock folded. So let's put this on. This will just sit. The buttons line up with the buttons, as you can see here. And we're just going to try and get this on here. So these screw holes line up, which can be tricky, because everything with these things are tricky. It's actually probably easier if you take off this other ribbon cable. It gives you a little bit more room to work. But when I'm working with this stuff, I try to do as little as possible. So I got it here, got the one end. Now, when I'm putting in screws, I don't ever tighten them all the way until I get all the screws in their slots, because otherwise it's tricky to get them in, generally. So let's screw that one in, just like that, just like that. Okay, there we go. The new buttons have been placed in. Careful not to over tighten it, otherwise the buttons will automatically be pressed. So you got some nice clicks on there. So once I finally put this in, then it should be good. So we got that back, so now we can just pop our battery back in. Now this can be a little bit tricky. You have to kind of remember which way the battery was, for one. Which I should have probably paid attention when I pulled it out. I believe it was like this. No, probably like this, because that's where the hole is for the cable to run through. Okay, I got it in. Nice. A little bit tough, but I got it. Okay, so I got my battery in. And we're going to slide the antenna back in place. That's where it gets a little bit tricky, because we've got to fold the ribbon cable, but I don't actually want to fold it. I want to slide it in. So it folds on top of the battery. So you kind of want to bring the rail back and across, just like that. And then you can screw in your screws, which you have off to the side here. Make sure that everything pinches down tight. And be careful not to over tighten them, because they'll strip and then you'll not be happy. Pop it in to make sure it connects to the system. Okay, looks like for some reason the buttons aren't working, but the analog stick is. I over-tightened something. Looks like that works though, at least. I got a light show up there, so that means that works. So it looks like I'm taking this apart again. The battery works as well. So it looks like I over-tightened. I know exactly what I did here. So I take this back apart here. You have to be careful with these, so not over-tighten the board. The other thing is, I just swapped out the battery with an extra one I had, because I may have damaged the connectors on that battery when I was taking it out. So that's another thing, like I said, you got to keep in mind, you got to be very delicate with these things. So the B button's stuck because it's been over-tightened. Now I thought originally that was only on the other rail it did that, on the when you put the board down. But it's like I must have been wrong on that one. Okay, so screws are back out. Gotta pry it open again. You can use your tweezers, it helps. Pull that open. Now it's over tightened down here, so let's loosen these guys up a bit up top here. Looks like the home button's pressing good. It's just these ones at the top that we gotta change. Gotta loosen slightly. So just give those a couple twists, unscrew it here. At the top. You just want to get the pressure off it. Make sure the buttons are clicky before you put it back together again. So now they're all clicky again, so the buttons are good. I unscrewed it. Okay, make sure your antenna is in place. And then you can put the rail back on. Should be a little bit easier this time because now you got your little bit of a fold. Okay, let's pop it back on, see if the buttons work again. Got connection, analog stick works. Looks like the shoulders work. Okay. So it looks like all the regular buttons are working again. That's a good sign. The next repair I want to do is my left Joy-Con here gets Joy-Con drift, so that's the next repair we're going to do. I will do that in another video. We're going to replace the analog stick on there. But it looks like this works. If I take it off, I don't know if it's got enough charge yet. Look, now you can see we got the light. The light is working again. So let's pop it back on for a sec. Jump out of here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take the Joy-Cons off. If I hopefully have enough battery to do this. I don't know if I do or not. And I want to go into here, change grip / order, and I want to test to make sure my L and R buttons work. See, looks like the SL, SR buttons work, so this is a successful repair. So Joy-Con successfully repaired. We can pop this back on, get my charge back. See, as you can see, the battery's almost dead because I had to replace this with the spare battery I had laying around in another Joy-Con. I have a Joy-Con I use 4 parts, so it worked out good. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this Joy-Con repair video. We did run into some challenges when we did it. I did damage the battery. I did have to take it apart because I over-screwed it and made it so the face buttons wouldn't work. But you know what? We did it. It was successful and we made it happen. Thanks for checking out the channel. We'll see you later.